doubts about me. Some of you still think I'm pulling a fast one. Let me remind you that there's only one company that made money on the internet from day one, not Amazon. They lost money for 7 years. But what company made money on the internet day one? Sorry? A company that lets people do what Grandpa Lapin did.
eBay.
eBay. Now, I checked up with eBay to see how many transactions typically are going on at any given instant on eBay. Do you know what the answer is, Love? Anyone want to guess? 70,000 is the right answer. 70,000 transactions are going on any moment on eBay. You want to know what the best definition of eBay is? 70,000 Grandpa Lapins working simultaneously. That's all it is. What eBay or Grandpa Lapin is doing is saying, oh, something you don't need, I'll get you money for it. And then they're going to other people and say, something you need, I'll get it for you cheaper. That's what eBay does, morning, noon, and night. And guess what they have in their pocket? A little arbitrage, a little profit. That is how money is made. And human beings serve one another. That's what makes it work. When human beings serve one another, money is brought into existence. If you think that money is made when the United States Treasury runs the printing presses and produces currency, then none of us should ever be short, right? They should just run the press until we all go, oh, stop, we got enough already. But they can't do that, because if you're a country and you print more money than is equivalent to the things that human beings have done for one another in terms of goods or services, you have something called inflation, which is another way of stealing money from citizens. That's what it is. And so, if you imagine, and maybe what I should do is just try and find a landing place on this right now, so then we can go to some of your questions and answers here. So the bottom line is, why is it moral to make money? Let me put it this way. I often ask people, do you want a lot of money? Now, a lot of people get very uncomfortable with the question. They sort of move their feet around and they sort of look down, and people are uncomfortable about saying, yes, I want a lot of money, because they think it makes them sound greedy. They also think that the love of money is the root of all evil, etc., etc. But I never said anything about the love of money. I said, do you want a lot of money? But I didn't ask you why. If I asked you why and you said, because I love money. But how about if I ask you, do you want a lot of money? And you say yes. And I say, why? And you say, because it will prove that I've served a lot of human beings. Well, now that's very interesting. So imagine that there was a nice kosher restaurant in San Mateo. I don't think there is. But if there was, okay, and I wanted to take my wife there for a nice big fat kosher steak and a plate of fries, I would need to do something before that. Here's what I would do. Let's imagine I'm a roofing person and I'm about to go roller skating with my kids, and then all of a sudden the phone goes, and is Dr. Colson here? Where? There you are. Your kitchen starts leaking. It's raining. You call me and you say, listen, this is really miserable. The rain's coming through my roof. Could you come over quickly and do a roofing job? And I'm just about to say, Dr. Colson, I cannot do that. I'm about to walk out of the house with my kids to go roller skating. And I'm, oh, you idiot. How could you even think of doing that? This is a great opportunity to teach my children what money's all about. And I say, well, of course I'll come over immediately. And I get my tools onto the truck. I take my kids, pack them in the back, and off we ride over to their house. We climb up on the roof, set the ladder, bring up some shingles to fix it all up. Pretty soon, I've got the rain under control. No more rain coming into the kitchen. She's as happy as could be. And she says, that was really beautiful. Is there anything I can do for you? And I say, sure. I need some certificates of performance. She says, what are certificates of performance? I say, simple. They're little green strips of paper like this with different numbers on them. And they prove that I served you. She says, oh, I know about what you mean. I've got a bunch of those. How many do you want? I say, well, could I have 100, please? She says, with pleasure. I'm so relieved you came over here to take care of my roof. So I take the $100 and I come running home and I say, Susan, we're in luck. We're going out tonight to Izzy's Kosher Grill House in San Mateo. It doesn't exist. I checked. And so we run down to Izzy's Kosher Grill. We sit down and Izzy, I presume, walks over and says, what do you folks want? I said, we want 2 big, fat, juicy steaks with a plate of fries. He says, and why exactly should I go and slave over a hot stove in my kitchen just because you want to eat a steak? I say, excuse me? I thought I saw the word restaurant outside there. He says, yes, but this restaurant is only for members of a certain club. I said, really? What's that? What is this club about? This is a club for people who like serving other people. I said, oh, that's me. He says, really? Can you prove it? I said, sure I can. Where do you think I got these from? He says, oh, fine. I'll sit down. Brings us a beautiful steak, fantastic. We eat, we enjoy it. At the end of it, I say, what can I do for you? He says, I'd like you to give me some certificates of performance. I said, sure, how many? He says, 60. No problem. Here you go. And the next day, he takes his kid to the orthodontist, and so it continues. That is the definition of money. Forget everything they told you in Econ 101. The definition of medium of exchange, etc., etc., etc. Money is very simply evidence that you have served another human being. In other words, if any of you, now or tomorrow, have some money in your pocket, and you absolutely did not defraud anybody, and you didn't rob a little old lady and take her pocketbook, and you didn't hold up a convenience store, then I know how you got that money. I don't even know you, but I know how you got the money. It's very simple. You pleased another child of God. You pleased another human being. That's how it works. It's very, very simple. Very simple. And so the answer is that if you've got money in your pocket and you didn't steal it or rob it or defraud anybody, you've got that money. I don't know if it's your boss or your customer or your client or a relative. I don't know who gave it to you. But somebody gave it to you whom you did something for that was worth more than the money. In exactly the same way that to the second family, that table was worth much more than the $20 or the $10 that they gave for it. That is the secret of money. Making money is terrific. And you don't have to expiate the sin of making money by giving charity. That's a totally different discussion. I absolutely believe that for a person who is an ambitious entrepreneur, not to give away 10% of what you make is sheer folly. I think it's an unbelievable mistake. Not from a godly point of view, but from an economics point of view. And I explain that in more detail in my books. I'm not trying to sell books now, so I'm not going to go into that for now. But bottom line is that charity isn't to make up. And I tell you this because there's a horrible phrase that's very popular out there. You all heard it. And as soon as I start saying it, you'll know exactly what the phrase is. You hear it every time Bill Gates or Apple or Google or anybody makes a big gift to a hospital or to an art gallery or to Africa or anything else. Everyone says, isn't it lovely to see them giving back to society? I ask you, ladies and gentlemen, what does that mean they were doing to society while they were making the money in the first place? Ripping it off, obviously. And that's what people believe. And all of this wrong-headed thinking is why it is that those pathetic cretins outside have such a confused idea about what money is. Now, note that I'm not necessarily speaking in favor of capitalism, because capitalism is an economic system, and I'm not sure that it includes an ethical component. What I'm talking about is an ethical approach to money, where the way I make money is by serving other human beings. It brings me closer to other people. It doesn't drift me further apart. The morality of money is precisely that you cannot make money in an open, free market without making other human beings happy. And when you make other human beings happy, and this I'm telling you only from a personal point of view, because I have no idea if any of you are religious or who's religious or who isn't. It doesn't make any difference. But there's no way, let me put it this way. Those of you with children, and if you haven't got children, one day you will find out. If somebody does a wonderful thing for your child, is that as good as doing a wonderful thing for you? Not as good or better? Better. Much better, right? If somebody does something great for your kid, you want to throw your arms around them in gratitude. How do you think the good Lord feels when we take care of one of these kids? Do you know why I and virtually every single other American, when we check out of a hotel, as I'm going to do first thing in the morning, why do I leave money on the table for housekeeping staff? They get paid. Why do I do that? Why do I tip the waiter like almost every American? I do it because I have to show my appreciation for what that person did for me. Susan and I arrived in the hotel, we were tired, long travel, exhausted. Everything's beautiful, everything's clean, the lights work, the bathroom looks like no human being's ever been in it, and everything's terrific. I have to say thank you for that. The fact that the hotel pays them has nothing to do with me. I have to acknowledge that they did something for me. The fact that they don't know me, it doesn't matter. So you've got to be aware that getting paid doesn't diminish the virtue of the action. As a matter of fact, if I'm doing a modification to my house and the contractor says, you know, I'll do it as a favor for you, do you think that makes me happy? Of course not. I don't want a favor from him, because if it's a favor, he'll have to fit it in to whenever he has time. If it's a favor, he might want to use second-rate material so he doesn't lose too much on it. I want him to charge me enough so he makes a fair profit. And if I consider the profit to be too much, I'll go to someone else. That's what a marketplace means. I don't want him to do it for free. A volunteer, very nice, but it doesn't suit me. Because a person who does it for me as a favor is not somebody I can